Hello, my name is Philip Farber with Control My Doors. Today I'm going to show you the navigation through our user interface panel. Here you'll see the main user interface once you log in using your credentials. Up at the top you'll see many drop downs that take you to the various shortcuts of the website. The first area you can see is where our card and card holders belong. As you can see here we have cards, card holders, cardholder photos, cardholder groups, facility codes, reset card status, card calculator, bulk upload. Now let's go ahead and go into the card section. Once you click on cards, you'll notice that we have a couple cards already in the system. You'll see that we have card ID, which is the number printed on the card, who it's assigned to, who saved it, save date, and who created it. Also, you'll notice up here we also have a search field where you could be able to actually search for employees if you have a lot of cards that are not shown on the same page. Next, we have the cardholder section. This is where you actually sign names to cards that you have created in the system. Let's go ahead and edit my card that I have in the system here. You'll see that I could add my first name, last name, a cardholder ID, which could be an optional employee identification number or whatever you would like to use. We have a photo section where you could upload a badge photo. You can put in their phone, email, what group they belong to, which we're going to learn about later. The card that you already added to the system will be in this drop-down field here, or you could actually add a card on the fly by putting the facility code and entering the card number. If that card holder is going to be active, and then of course you would go ahead and hit save, and when you do that it would automatically upload to the controllers that it belonged to. Now let's go to cardholder groups. This is where you'll have the names of the type of groups that you're going to have. Managers, vendors, general employees, maintenance facilities. You could create as many groups as you'd like that will be added to individual door groups later on in this video. Next, we have facility codes. As you know, facility codes are part of the cards, whether you use an HID or another manufacturer. Most cards come with a card number and a facility code, which is similar to like an area code of a phone. Of course, as you can see, you simply enter the number. You could have more than one as you're buying cards throughout the life of the system. You may not get a different facility code and you can add them here. We also include a bulk upload section. This is great if you're doing a takeover. If you have an old system that already has a database full of cardholders, if you could go ahead and import that into an Excel document, we provide a template that then you simply add all the names, the card numbers, the facility codes, and then you could upload it to our system without having to actually hand type everything. Next, we're going to go into the controller section. These are the IP-based controllers that you would have throughout your facility and actually could be in multiple buildings. It's a virtual panel. You technically could have one controller in Arizona and one controller in New York, but the software could see it as one system. Once you go into the edit section, you could see where you could name the controller, what type of controller it is, how we access our controllers and know which one is which is by the MAC address. As you see, we put in the last 6 digits of the MAC address. You could also include the local IP address if you need to, in case if you ever need to get into it on your network to be able to change the IP, assign it a static IP, or change the DNS. And of course, you could make it active and you hit save and it will send the settings to the controller. Next, we have our door section where you could actually assign a door name to that controller and you tell it what type of reader you're going to connect to it, the controller it's connected to, are you going to have an IP camera next to it, and does it have an auto unlock schedule? This is where you would actually add that once you've created a schedule in the other area of the website. Next area we're going to go to is the schedule section. Schedules could be used for employees, could be used for doors, and it could be used for groups to actually allow certain times to get into doors. Here you'll see that we created a schedule called 24/7. Kind of self-explanatory. This is where they could get into a certain door, or a door could be open 24 hours a day. We're going to go to the edit section, you name it. It's military time, so you'd put the start time and the end time, what days it's going to be active, and is it going to observe an actual holiday. The holiday section here is where you could actually create a holiday for, let's say, all of 2016, and then below you could simply create all the holidays you're going to observe. What that does, it just reverses the schedule. So if you have an auto unlock door on your front lobby that's open Monday through Friday, but let's say it's Thanksgiving, you don't want the door to be wide open, you'd put that in here and it would actually lock the door on that day versus having it wide open. The next area is called access rules. What this is the groups that you created, now you would assign them to specific door groups. We have one in the system right now. You would name it, what group, as we saw earlier, belongs to this, and what doors do they have access on what schedule. So here you can see we have 2 doors on the system, and they have access 24/7. So anyone that would be belonging to the admin group would be able to get into these doors 24 hours a day. Now, the next section, you'll see we have multiple activity pages based upon what you're wanting to do, as well as an alert and a control panel area. Let's go ahead and get into the current activity. In the current activity, you could do a search if you had multiple doors, employees, if you wanted to see information just from that employee, or let's say that particular door. Here you can kind of see we have the controller, the door, the date and time, the event, access granted, the card number, and the card holder. Very typical to most access control systems. You could also go to activity history, which kind of gives you more of a larger range. You could search something from 7 months ago, let's say. We also have an alert section. Here, you could create alerts to send you an email. So here's all the different type of alerts you could have if someone has a denied access at the door. If a particular card holder goes into a door, you could actually make it send you an email, power failure, door held, door forced, a whole bunch of alerts that we allow in here. The next section we have is the control panel. Here is more for the installers and advanced users. In this area, you could actually send commands to the door. You could upload a new database. You could clear the database. You could temporarily unlock the door. You could put a permanent unlock if you're having, let's say, a party and you normally have the door locked. You have a lot of guests come in. You could grant access. You could get the current date and time of the controller. A lot of back-end settings that our installers use are found here. The next area is our user section. This is where you could create multiple users that will have access to this website. It's not the same as the card holders. This would be for more administrators that would have access, or let's say guards that are watching the front desk. You want them to be able to see the current activity as our activity actually auto refreshes itself. So here you could see that you could give a lot of different access. HR could have access to just adding cards, but let's say they can't do anything with the door. So this is where you can set all that information up. The last couple tabs are just more the location info where you put, let's say, the address of the company, and you'd be able to log out and then request help. So it's a very simple site. What we decided to do is we looked at all the enterprise style of access control systems that have tons and tons of options and features, and you have to go a week's worth of training. And we just took the features that people use 99% of the time and got rid of all those advanced features that most of the time people don't use. We wanted to make this very simple where you don't have to have a professionally trained user, the girl at the desk, HR, a maintenance guy, pretty much anyone. If you give them access to the website, they could kind of be able to figure out how to add a card, delete a card, and change, let's say, an access rule or a schedule with very little training. I appreciate this opportunity. I hope this product very much works out for you. Thank you.